The water is just lovely today. So cool and calming. But you know what I could go for? I could go for a view. Ooh, what is this lovely entity? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it something insane? Hello and welcome to an episode of AVR Gaming. My name is Jacob and today we are taking a look at my finally completed build of Tokyo Tower in my brand new Minecraft Tokyo inspired city world. I say brand new because this is actually a brand new world from the previous videos I've done on my channel, because I've recently gotten World Edit and I decided to start building in a super flat world, so I just copied and pasted over a whole bunch of other buildings and stuff I built in my previous city, yada yada yada. It's a lot to explain, doesn't really matter, because today what we're here to see is this building right here. Took many tries to actually put this thing together. Because this isn't actually my first attempt at it. I tried to do this many years ago when I was much younger in a world that I have since lost because of a broken laptop many years ago. So I've been honing my skills and doing lots of tries to get a Tokyo Tower style building together. And finally, I've been able to do it where the whole building is complete, and I feel satisfied saying that. You would have seen it in my previous videos in my other world where it was missing everything above this area, so this whole chunk of the building would have been absent in those videos because I was building in a normal Minecraft world during those videos, my previous videos on my city world. But like I said, this is a super flat world, so it's only about 5 blocks deep, which means that this building, because the world height is like 256 blocks, I believe, which means that this building measures 251 meters or blocks tall, which is actually a little shorter than the real Tokyo Tower. The real one measures like 333 meters tall, or just under that. So I have just jumped onto Wikipedia just to double check the height of the tower, and I was right. It was 332.9 meters, so I was off by 10 centimeters, but that's nothing. And for you guys not using the metric system, that is over 1,000 feet tall, so huge tower. No wonder it was one of the biggest buildings in the world, or at least in Japan, for so long. Let's just take a look at some images of the tower itself, just so you guys can get a good reference for what the real building looks like for the rest of this video. So here's just some nice close-ups of the tower. We have this cool observatory up here, lots of little satellite dishes and weird stuff going on all over it here. So of course I couldn't replicate this exactly with my build, but I definitely got the main beams and stuff and all the little doohickeys and some of these satellite dishes and things like that in it. And there is the top of the building with those weird cylindrical shapes and that little platform and stuff. And of course, the tower actually changes quite a bit during the decades, so some of these details and the radio equipment will have changed depending on which photo you look at. But this is just the one Wikipedia gives us, and it's a pretty good look at some of these detailings that the tower has. Very nice. I use predominantly Google Earth for building stuff like this in the surrounding area, so as you can see, Google Earth is just amazing. It always gives you these really cool 3D rendered models of the main buildings, especially in cities like Tokyo. You can just totally explore the city with Google Earth, and this is really useful for getting to see what the actual tower looks like up close and the surrounding area under it and around it. This is really useful for like this area here predominantly, and all this weird shit that the tower has up here on the main building at the base here with all this, I don't even know what you'd call it, just these pipes and all this industrial equipment and stuff, and just how the tower is surrounded by this stuff here, and especially this car park around here. I used a lot of the stuff from Google Earth to get all these markings and things, as well as other photos to get all of this stuff put into my world. And I actually did have this building as well as these two buildings built in my world as well, and this park here. So yeah, you'll see that in a second when we zoom around and explore my built Minecraft version of the tower. But this is just to show you guys what I was using as a reference, and if you want to build stuff like cities in Minecraft, Google Earth is just the best reference, even if you're not building a specific city, just to get ideas and stuff, and especially about like road shapes and the way cities just are kind of arranged and stuff like that. But yeah, let's jump back to Minecraft. Here we're getting a good look at this tower at night, and I think it particularly looks really lovely at night as opposed to a lot of my other buildings. Not that they look particularly bad, but this tower in general, I love the little lanterns, how they come to life at night across it, which is something that happens on the real building. So I've added these little lanterns up all over it. So let's take a look at how this structure is actually built. So the real building is a huge 330 meter tall steel structure built in the same sort of lattice way like the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, which this thing is obviously based on. What I used was redstone blocks for the majority of this building because it is kind of like an orangey red color, just like the actual tower. I've used some red terracotta in spots as well, and I spent a lot of time just kind of eyeballing the way that these shapes go together. This wasn't done using commands or anything like that, really. The majority of this tower was built before I knew how to use commands. Like now I'm just like full-on world edit, going crazy with that sort of stuff and commands and everything to build the city. But this was done pretty much block by block from what I remember. And there was a lot of work trying to get all these angles to be correct, because not only do you have to worry about like these beams going from one side to the other in a straight line at the specific angle that you want it to go to, but it also has to go inwards and sideways and up, and it's just this whole, you really got to just balance all this like three-dimensional stuff in your mind to kind of try and figure out mentally where to put every block to kind of get it to go in the right place. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, actually. I try to make it really accurate, so all these beams should be in the approximate correct place and the correct amount of them, so it's not just arbitrary, like where I put beams and stuff. I did have to, of course, simplify it, because the real tower was made of a lot more complex, thinner beams on the inside and stuff like that, so in order to not make it look like a complete jumbled mess, I just did the major structure. We've got this big red metal structure going around the outside which supports the tower, and down the middle we just have this big, very industrial looking, very basic sort of rectangular building, and up the center we have this big elevator shaft, which is what I believe it is. So there'd be an elevator going up here, and there's a couple of observation decks and sort of spaces as we go up the tower. The main one being these two spaces, which you can see in here, and there's actually a scaffolding beam running all the way down the inside of this tower, because that effectively works as an elevator in Minecraft. It's not really in use in the way that I've installed it, so but you can get it to work if you really want to. But of course I play in creative, so I just fly around the building. It is a little bit smaller, especially these sort of areas where people would actually be in. So it is a little cramped feeling for my liking, because photos of the real interior of these look much bigger, much nicer. But I've tried to make it as accurate as possible. I like the way these white glass panes kind of give the illusion of these being like these thin white metal lines that go down, but with the glass behind it and stuff like that. Yeah, looking really nice at night. Really happy with that. It took a lot of work to get the shape right and everything, and I have since slimmed down this portion of the building when I installed the tip, because I couldn't install it to be as tall as I would want it to be, because the actual original building has a slightly more elegant structure and look to it at the top here as well. But I did my best to try and get it to look accurate. And of course around the top here is where we see all these white elements come in, the sort of red and white striping, which I think looks really cool and really iconic for this tower. And all these little things around here are meant to represent like satellite dishes and various sort of radio devices, as well as these weird things that come out of the corners here, which again is very blocky and very Minecrafty in form, but is actually accurate to how the tower is in real life. And up here we have the entire new section of the building, which is this section all up here, which before I couldn't build it because of the world height. It stopped around here, so all of this is completely new. Yeah, I'm happy it's actually here, because before it looked really phallic because it was just cut off here, so it had this weird nub at the top and just this straight pillar to the sky. But now it actually has a spike on it, so it looks like a proper tower, like a proper radio tower. So you can see it's all the way up to the top. And yeah, this is where the world height is. So if we grab a block and we try and build, yeah, 256 blocks is the world height. So yeah, that makes this thing measure up to 251 blocks high, which I think I already said. Let's take a quick look at the interior of the building. It doesn't really have anything accurate on the inside, I just kind of made it up. But this works really well as a central hub for my world. So this is the main entrance into the tower. We come in here and we have a big world map. Now this map is actually already too small to contain the whole world, which I've been working on. It actually spreads out quite far beyond the map, because this map is already outdated to how the world is. I've been working quite hard on this world. But at least it has the majority of the world that can be on this map here. And you can see there's where we are, the little green spot, and here's the tower from above. So from here you can see all the car park and all the road systems around it. The roads around it aren't really accurate, but this car park section here, basically everything that I'm circling right now, I have made really accurate to what it was like in real life from what I could see in photos, especially from Google Earth. As well as a couple of these buildings dotted around here are actually based off of real buildings near the tower. But the rest of the city, the rest of everything is just, a lot of it's just made up from my head. It's really kind of just generic city stuff, even though the city's loosely based off of Tokyo. But I did try and have the immediate surroundings for this tower to be as accurate as possible. So we'll just take a little look outside. We have these roofs, which are meant to be like tent roofs. So these aren't meant to be like solid, hard roofs. These are just tents that are put out around here. And lots of benches around here, little posters and stuff. This weird round building, which is also actually next to the tower. I think it's like an information booth or something like that, this big building. This big little building. I don't know how to describe it. So I just built that there. There's a lot of these weird electrical components and these lampposts and stuff around the tower, and a lot of these vents and piping and these HVAC units all over the top of the building, because there's a lot of industrial stuff that goes on with this tower. It is a radio transmission tower in real life. So there's a lot of industrial stuff that goes on with this place, so it's not really designed to look pretty, this part, but the tower as a whole does. But I've tried to make all this stuff as accurate as possible. All these pipes and things running down the side of this building down here. There's definitely always lots of buses around the base of the tower as well. And I've even tried to make it accurate that these supporting blocks under the tower, the very base of the tower, isn't actually even. The ground under the tower here is really sort of not even, because the tower is kind of built on a hill. So unfortunately couldn't really replicate that in game, because I needed the full world height, so I couldn't really build it on a hill. So this area is a lot flatter than it would be in real life. But I think it came pretty close to what it is like in photos I've seen. And also this little shrine and this foresty area here, this little park, this is also fairly accurate to what's around the tower. We've got this red building here and this sort of white terracotta building here, which are also accurate to being next to Tokyo Tower. And we have the TARDIS down here, which is definitely not accurate, but who knows? I just put that there for the lols. Around here we have another building which is also accurate to being next to Tokyo Tower. This white and green building here. Although this road that runs between them isn't there in real life, but I just put it here because I thought it would help the city kind of come together and look cool. But I'm really proud of how the car park came together, because it is simplified, but it is also fairly accurate to how this car park does look in real life next to the tower itself. So yeah, that is about all I could really show you with this build. I'm really proud of it. I think it turned out great. I don't normally want to toot my own horn, but like this took a long time. Like I started building this thing a long time ago, so I don't have a lot of even memory of the whole process. It's not super fresh in my mind of actually doing the main part of the structure, but all I remember was that it took a long time. It was such a relief and just so satisfying to actually put the top of the tower on finally and have this structure completed, and I think it works really great as a centerpiece for my world here. Anyway guys, I'm about to end the video here, but first I'm just gonna do a little bit of a 360-degree view of the tower just to really show it off in all its glory, let you guys really soak it in and give you guys a better look at this thing. But yeah, if you guys like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. That would really help me out here, because I'm hoping to do more builds and stuff like this, and having an actual audience and some people I could share it with would really help motivate me and really make it worthwhile. I've got a lot of cool stuff in the works. Like you can see, a lot of the buildings and stuff going around here took a lot of work, and this isn't like even a half of the stuff we've got in the city at the moment. There's so much that I'm really excited to show you guys, so please stick around if you like this stuff. And if you like this tower and you want to get a good look at it, I may be able to actually put a download link for this world in the description below. If that is something that you're after, let me know. Ideally, I would want to do a tutorial video on how to build this thing, but I don't know. It was mind-numbing putting this tower together in the first place. I don't really think I have it in me to actually do a tutorial all the way through step by step and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know. If you guys are super keen on that, maybe I'll put the time in to do something like that, but for now, just wanted to show it off to you guys, just show the world what I've been working on in the dead of night behind closed doors. And yeah, I'm super proud of it. From what I've seen, it's one of the better Tokyo Towers built in Minecraft. Like again, I don't want to toot my own horn, but this really is probably my favorite thing that I have built in Minecraft to this day, and I'm just so happy to see it with its spire. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. I hope to see you in the next one. But till then, keep on being awesome, people. Bye.